Now, one of the things that could hold them back is faulty material, faulty parts, I guess you could say. This story, you sent it to me. I saw it on my feed as well. There have been a lot of complaints, actually, about touchscreens in Teslas from a particular period of time, the Model S and Model X. This problem, by the way, before we get into it, not affecting the newer models, Model 3, Model Y. The problem here is those earlier units had an eMMC NAND flash memory chip that was only 8 gigs. And it can only be written to a finite number of times before it shuts down and the touchscreen shuts down. And because in these vehicles, everything is controlled through the touchscreen, the windshield wipers and defroster on the inside, like really important things for driving, for cars.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we're sensing one of the downsides of having a singular interface for everything is if it breaks, everything breaks. And so they received a number of complaints. Who is this? The NHTSA, which is the Highway Transport. Who are they? What does that stand for? Well,
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
that is lovely the way you said that.
You know.
They received about 500 complaints. And then when that happens, they go to the brand and say, okay, how many complaints are there actually? Because, of course, not everybody goes to the safety people when they have a problem. Usually you just go to the manufacturer and you're like, can I get another one? Well, they went to Tesla and Tesla said, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's kind of a problem. This has accounted for more than 12,000 MCU replacements. So they knew about it. They've been replacing it. And so then this particular safety group has to look at it and say, wait a second, if you've replaced that many, we've heard this many complaints, you know what? We think you're going to have to go ahead and issue a recall on this thing. And it's not an insignificant recall. We're talking about the Model S built between 2012 and 2018 and Model X built between 2016 and 2018. It accounts for 158,000 vehicles. And you know, Tesla doesn't move that many vehicles. I mean, they've been improving quite a bit, but in this past year, it was like a record and it was just under 500,000 vehicles. So this represents a big chunk of Teslas, just under 160,000. Now, they fixed the situation by putting a unit in new storage unit inside the newer models, which is a 64 gig unit. So this issue no longer exists on the newer models. And if that's the reason it doesn't affect the Model Y and the Model 3 or any of the more modern Model S and X. But if you're affected, if you're in that group, you're going to want to get that checked out ASAP. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, it's a recall. You don't want to be stuck in that position if that thing all of a sudden doesn't turn on.